We just lacked effectiveness, we lacked that effectiveness, that drive, that sort of final pass, that right decision. There's something that's not clicking in lots of different places, and that's what bothers me, Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. I think it's fair to say that at present, Birmingham City are in a poor run of form, winning just one of the last 7 games. And our last fixture, Boxing Day, was a disappointing 1-1 draw at home to Derby County. This time of year, the games come thick and fast, and our next game is a team we know fairly well. We played them a few weeks ago, but this time we're at home to Southampton. In this podcast, myself and Matt are going to preview the game, as always, give our thoughts a little bit about Southampton, their form, and what we think the Blues starting lineup will be. So, I don't know about you, Matt, but based upon current form and just the general way that we're playing, I'm not overly confident about this one.
It's interesting you say that, though, because actually Southampton aren't in the best form either, and we played them only 5 games ago. In fact, it feels like yesterday we were there, wasn't it? The 6th of December, I think it was. And let's just remind ourselves that for us and the viewers of both teams' games since that game. So Southampton, of course, beat us 3-1 on the 6th of December, and since then they beat West Brom 3-2. They lost away to Norwich 2-1. They drew with Coventry 1-1. And most recently, which was a really big surprise, they lost 2-1 away at Oxford. And Blues, Dad, we lost 2-1 away to QPR. We drew 1-1 to Charlton. We lost 3-0 away to Sheffield United. And we drew 1-1 to Derby. So both teams not in great form, really. I mean, Southampton nick it slightly by having 4 points available. We have 2. But again, some interesting results in there from a Southampton and a Blues perspective. But when we left St. Mary's, though, because we drove there, we obviously had like a 2.5-hour drive on the way back. We were actually complimenting Southampton, weren't we, as one of the best teams we'd seen this season in terms of from a footballing point of view.
Yeah. They played very well, but I think again it was partly a combination of us not really playing or turning up again away. But they were a good passing side, and they looked at them just recently. In fact, actually, they just appointed their manager that day, hadn't they? The new manager. Who was their caretaker manager after a fantastic run of form, because they won prior to their defeat away to Norwich. They'd actually won 6 of the previous 7. I think that's what the manager got appointed for. But I'd say we'll talk a little bit about Southampton at the moment. But I thought my comment at the beginning about being concerned is that we our last 2 home games we've dropped points. We drew 1-1 with Charlton, as you mentioned, and we drew 1-1 with Derby County at home, where previously we've been winning our home games.
And Dad, we were without Clara and Doyle, arguably our 2 most influential players when it comes to the sport.
Possibly Jimmy Gray as well. We don't know the extent of his injury, but he went off after 15 minutes against Derby. So, do you know what, Matt? It doesn't make any difference really now. We are where we are. We have the January transfer window isn't open yet, so we're going to have to make do with the players that we've got, and we'll talk about us in a minute, because I think that's going to be an interesting team selection for us.
It will be, and I've actually made some changes, Dad. I think we need to be far more aggressive. I think we need to be probably going to get annihilated in the comments here, but I think we need to channel a little bit of Nathan Jones here. I think we need to be a nasty team, a gritty team. I'm not saying by the way, please don't take that out of context. I don't want to play like Charlton and be like Charlton. My point in saying that is we need to disrupt. We need to be aggressive. We need to be, winning the second ball, putting challenges out. I haven't seen that for Blues a lot, especially in these last sort of 5 to 10 games. I feel like we've really been disappointed from my perspective. The ability to win the second ball. If we reflect back on Southampton away, the amount of space they had, how much Finn Azaz, Tom Fellows was driving with the ball, Armstrong. If you give these players space, they're going to punish you in the score. Exactly what happened at Southampton away. So my team selection, and we'll go on to Blues a little bit later, Dad, is, in my opinion, a little bit more reflective of the battling side I want to see from Birmingham City against Southampton. Because, Dad, they're not this, they're a good football inside, but if you get at them, you can disrupt them.
Well, Oxford have shown that they can.
Exactly.
They've had some, as you mentioned, fairly sort of interesting results through the season. Started the season off very poor. But the Oxford result did surprise me, I've got to be honest. Now, Oxford sacked Gary Rowett, didn't they, a little bit earlier, a few days earlier?
They did.
And it's typical what happens, isn't it? You get this new manager bounce. I think it might be a caretaker at the moment, I don't know. But that result still surprised me. I expected Southampton to win that game.
I'm not sure if you've seen the goals, Dad, but Oxford's second goal reminded me of Derby's against us. It was just like it was Southampton on the attack, long ball over the top. The striker does very well, plays it in, and it's kind of ends up being a really simple.
They're frustrating goals, aren't they?
But they're the kind of goals that your Derbys, your Oxfords, and your teams that do that more direct approach score against you. And again, though, what it's shown is that Southampton aren't immune to conceding those kind of goals. However, what I would say before we get into the thick of this is we don't play that style of football. I think we're quite similar to Southampton in the context of short passes, build-up play, side to side. That kind of, we do try and play football. We're not a direct team. We're not a John Eustace team. We're not a Nathan Jones team. We're not a Oxford kind of team. So actually, that's why I made that point out of saying I want us to be a bit more gritty and fighty and nasty and have that bite in the centre of the park. And this comes down to recruitment a little bit in terms of, do we have those players to play this style of football? But also, the players that we do have still have to step up and be more aggressive.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are focusing on Chris Davis at the moment. I think that's natural because he's the manager and the way he sets the team up. But we also have to let the players take accountability as well. Because as you mentioned, Matt, sometimes it's just silly passes. It's not being aggressive enough. It's not winning the second ball. All the things you mentioned is down to the players. When they step over that white line, whatever tactics Chris Davis has given them, whatever setup, there's still the basics that you have to do. And that's where we're letting ourselves down. I've been really frustrated with the way we have been conceding goals, where, it seems to be like, we push forward at all costs. And of course, we're going to get caught out on the break. Yeah. But our defending, that's what frustrates me, is that if we're going to know we're going to get caught out the back, there has to be some form of plan for what happens when we get broken or when the team break fast. And the goal, that Derby goal was like one pinged over to their right winger, Brewster. He pings it in. It's a header. It's just a 2-kick and 1 head goal. We don't score goals like that.
But Dan, we've been vulnerable. Let's not ignore the fact, even in League One, look at Shrewsbury away. Look at Northampton at home. Look at some of the goals that we conceded in League One last season. They were poor goals to concede. Yeah. And I still think it's a pan. Under Chris Davies, we are vulnerable to teams that go direct. Mansfield away. These teams, even in League One last season, were catching us out left, right and centre just by a long hoop. Barnsley away, their goal that they scored.
They're even much more common in League One. I accept that.
But my point is, though, Dad, is there is a vulnerability to our defensive game when teams do that.
Yeah.
We don't stamp it out as quickly and as efficiently as we should. And we look vulnerable when teams are good at corners and set pieces, those typical kind of teams.
Yeah.
We look vulnerable to that.
I think we do. I think with Southampton as well, Matt. What worries me about this game in particular is because we saw them. We actually saw them live, didn't we? And it's partly because we gave them nothing to trouble them at all. So it will be slightly different at home, right? I'm worried about the suspensions and the injuries that we've got. But in all honesty, man for man, they are a better team than us, and you can't deny that. I know that they're very close in the league table to us. They're a couple of places above us, but they are a better team. There's some really good quality players in that team. We're looking at we're talking about Adam Armstrong, obviously as a proper goal talisman, isn't he? He knows where the net is.
Always.
He scored twice against us at the St Mary's, didn't he? Finn Azaz as well. He scored against us as well, but he should have been closed down. Again, back to not doing the basics, poor defending. Cienza as well, he was brilliant against us. He was fantastic. They played against Oxford, they played a 3-4-2-1, which is the common, and they'll set up like that against us as well. I'm absolutely sure. Tom Fellows as well, he was good against us without actually he hit the crossbar, but he should have scored.
He broke it.
Yeah.
Absolutely rocked it up. But then, coming back to Tom Fellows, what epitomises Blues for me at the minute, I'm sure you remember this moment in the game. I think it was down our left-hand side in the first half. We were kind of on the attack, kind of play got a good bit scrappy and broke up. He took it past 1, he took it past 2, he took it past 3. He took it not far off the edge of Southampton's box, and they almost scored from it because Tom Fellows carried it about 60 yards.
They should call him Tom Cruise. He literally was cruising with the ball.
To me, that right now epitomises Blues. Why aren't we close to him? Why aren't we putting a challenge in? But I'm sorry, I'm just backing you up. Tom Fellows causes all sorts of issues that day.
But there's just decent players all over that pitch. Jack Stevens at the back, Howard Bellis. Basically, this is a good team, Southampton, and they'll come. And of course, they've lost against Oxford now. They're going to come with a point to prove. We had that against Sheffield United when they lost against West Bromwich Albion, and then they were fired up to do that. So
we say that doesn't work at Blues, does it?
No.
We just keep walking from one, not disaster to another, but one disappointment to another.
But you know what, Matt? We're at home. I know the last 2 games have been disappointing. The injuries and the suspensions are going to play a part. But you could argue that for any team in this league, they are going to get injuries, they are going to get suspended, and it just tells you that that's quite good enough. If we're looking at, I've struggled to. I had a bit of a conundrum when I come to the Blues lineup in a minute because I've really looked at it and toyed around with it. based upon basically who's available, who can fit in here, and we're down to that now, and that's something what I didn't expect us to be back to in such a short period of time. We know what Southampton are going to do. They're going to want possession of the ball. They're going to be fast on the break. They pass the ball well. So it's our way we set ourselves up, and we know that we're going to set up as a 4-2-3-1. That's what Chris Davies always does. But the thing is, Southampton know that as well. They've played us already, and I think that they'll just look at blueprints of what they did at St Mary's, just basically know where they've got to exploit us and where our weaknesses are, and they'll go for it. So, I know that I'm sounding negative here, Matt. I don't mean to come across like that. I'm trying to be a little bit realistic as well. But on our current form, playing against the better teams, and even though they lost against Oxford and they're on a little bit of a blip, I still class it as one of the better teams in the division.
Yeah,
it just concerns me that we are not being the team that we thought we were going to be at the start of the season. And there's something quite wrong somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. It's almost as if we got decent players, and we have phases of game where we play decent football. We just lacked effectiveness. We lacked that effectiveness, that drive, that sort of final pass, that right decision. There's something that's not clicking in lots of different places, and that's what bothers me. Thing is, if we were to score like 3-4 goals every game, we could afford the odd mistake at the back. But the problem is, if we go a goal down, we know it's an uphill task. Even at home at the moment, to claw our way back into that game.
But do you remember Millwall Day? Do you remember Portsmouth? Do you remember some of these home games?
Norwich,
we were knocking 4 in, and we were really fluid, attractive football. I mean, attractive is a word, pretty football, attractive football, sleek football, whatever term you want to use. We're playing around with semantics now. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care too much for it, as long as it's a result-based business. If we win, we win. Yeah. But we were playing attractive football, real one-touch football. Dux was linking up the play nicely, good runs from Stano. Things were happening, and then suddenly it's just been like a cliff dive.
I think
something's just happened where, like you said, that I can't put my finger on what it is, but something's not right. I mean, maybe West Brom away was the moment I started to think the cogs aren't turning as effectively as I thought they were.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not just the attack; it's the one-touch football. To me, it's the defensive side of the game. We're getting knocked out of shape quickly. We're not winning second balls. We're not aggressive enough. That worries me just as much as going forward, because I think it's easy to look at Blues, Dad, and say at the moment, we don't have what it takes to score many goals, like you said. Because if we score 4 goals and the opposition scores 2, it doesn't matter. You still get 3 points because your mistakes are nullified by the goals that you're scoring. But it's the defensive side of the game that worries me, and I think we've been pretty solid defensively. It has never been a concern for me. I'm slightly more concerned now as we go through this season defensively as well.
Yeah, well, we're sort of midway now in the defensive table. We're literally virtually right in mid-table for like goals conceded. We've conceded 30 goals in our 23 games, which is almost dead on mid. So actually, we've always been good defensively. We've built off that solid basis and worked our way.
I agree, yeah.
Southampton are the 4th highest scorers in this division with 37.
I'm a bit surprised,
but defensively, they're slightly worse than us. I mean, they've conceded 3 more goals than us, but they score a lot of goals from pretty much anywhere on the pitch. Adam Armstrong is the one that always, like you mentioned, scores against us, and we'll have to watch him. But there is threats all over the pitch.
Phil Azaz is the man this year for me. He's just and who's the guy you mentioned, Dad? The attacking. I think he's the attacking left middle. Kenza. He's a good player as well. But yeah. When I look at Southampton, Dad, I have no doubt they are one of the best attacking teams in the league, up there with the Coventry's in the middle, but attacking-wise. But defensively, to me, you can get at them. They can be disorganised. When you're aggressive in the midfield and you do quick passing and transition quickly, you can cause a no end of bother. So for me, this comes down to one key word to me, and it's tempo. I think if we can up the tempo in the final third and disgruntle them a little bit, like I said earlier with my tongue-in-cheek Nathan Jones comment, if we can be gritty and disrupt them, annoy them, and then transition quickly with tempo, quick passes, I have no doubt we can do some damage in this game, Dad. But how many times do we say ifs and buts and hypotheticals?
It is. I think we can as well. But we've got to give them something to think about. I mean, we had a few chances at St Mary's. I mean, Dimmy's goal was another one of his worldies. And he probably won't be playing because it looks like he's injured. We don't know for sure at the point of recording, but it looked like he went off, didn't he, early against Derby. And we've just got to give them something to think about. What we're lacking, Matt, what we're desperately lacking is support up front for Stano and a target man. because
and playing him in the right position.
Yeah,
he's out of position.
Yeah, I mean, he needs support. We need. I mean, Chris Davis is never going to go two up front. So I can't see that ever happening. But I think that's what needs to happen. We need to have two up front.
I think we need a formation change.
Yeah, but I think that's glaringly sort of obvious as a plan B. But that's something that we've always stuck with, the same formation.
It's not going to happen.
So the Southampton manager's going to look at this and he's exactly how we're going to play and announce to players. And, with our injuries and that, we're going to have to really work hard to get points out of this game, I think. But
that's why I think we need a slight change in mindset. Let's move away from this possession first, and let's have a sounds weird to say let's have a grungy game of football, but I'm going to keep coming back to it. Let's get nasty.
Yeah.
And let's... St.Andrews can be a hostile place when we get going. I think the crowd has just as much responsibility as the back. It's a two-way street. They need to give us something to cheer for and to make noise for, but we need to get behind them as well. Let's make it hostile. It's an evening game, And as I said, let's change that mentality a little bit. Davis. I want to see him saying, "Let's win the second ball." We want to mop up everything. We don't want to give them an inch. We are the home team, Dad, but you do have to be wary, because I say a lot on this podcast, with a home team, let's not pay them any respect and go at them. But we've seen, even playing Derby, when you go at them, they can just nick a goal.
Yeah.
Really easy. So we have to be careful. And that's why I'm being a little bit more cautious in this game, because we know what Southampton can do going forward. And for me, I want to focus on that battle, that second ball, that fight, that aggression. Bring that back. We'll do well this game.
Yeah. We can win this game. We are at home. We are going to be better than we were at Southampton, because we were terrible, really. I mean, we had little glue. That wasn't the worst away performance, by the way, Southampton, but he weren't great.
But Dad, Kogo had that chance. He should have scored it. Did we hit the bar or the post, or their keeper made a really good save towards the end? You can go at Southampton.
Yeah, but then they had loads of other chances as well, didn't they? So I see what you're saying. But
my point is that we know that because they're a good attacking team, but defensively you can get them.
Yeah, and we can win. I have absolutely no doubt we are capable of winning this game. But I think based upon current form, it does look like the players are a little bit confused about what they're doing, because some of the decision making is terrible, isn't it? And also when we have substitutions as well, it's almost like you can't work out what's going on. I can't work out what's going on. I do eventually, but I think, this is what he's trying to do here. But it's almost, there seems to be a very sort of a scattergun approach at the moment to changing the team, changing the formation at various times. I don't think that's helping us as well. But let's go on to the Blues starting lineup, Matt, and the score prediction. So
I'll talk you through my whole 11, Dad, because I've made some changes and I want to justify why I've moved some players around. So let me take you through my whole 11.
Just before you do that, just to remind people that Tommy Doyle's suspended, and so is Clara for this game. Plus, obviously, you'll talk about the injuries, I'm sure, as you go.
Sure. Well, we do have some question marks, don't we, as well? I know Cochrane's closed. We don't know 100%, and we don't know the extent of Dimmy either. So in the interest of this, you'll hear it in a sec. Let's go for it, Dad. So I've gone for Beadle in goal. And if we're going to have that conversation, I think Beadle and Allsop are equally on that same path for me. Beadle ahead of him slightly for me, I guess. I'll put Beadle in. I've gone for Cash in left back. I've gone for Jack Robinson, the left side of centre-back, Neumann in the centre right side. I've gone for Samstead at right-back. Now, that allows me to put a Water back in the centre midfield with Leonard, because I think a Water and Leonard will give, from my perspective here, will give us that bite and that snap and that ability to break up play and give us that little bit of aggression in the centre midfield. By the way, for what it's worth, I don't think that will happen. I'm just saying what I want to see here and justifying my opinion. So, at the back, Cash in left-back, Robinson left side centre back, Neumann right side centre back, Samstead at the right back, and then the sixes have gone for Awata and Leonard. They're that break up play for me that we need against a team like Southampton. I've gone for Patrick Roberts on the right side of his field. I've gone for Dykes in the 10 because I want that aggression, I want that physicality. Due to injuries, let's assume Damari Gray's out, Keshi Anderson's out on the left hand side. I'm going to go for Stansfield, and then in the 9 I'm going to go for Koga.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because I'm quite a similar team. I'll talk you through my team though. I have made similar decisions to you in there, but it really is a conundrum now, isn't it, based upon who's available, really. Beadle in goal. I've toyed with having Samstead at left back.
So was I.
But I think he'll start with Cash in again. So I've gone for Beadle in goal, Cash in at left back, same as you. Robinson left side of the centre half, Neumann right side. I've gone for a Water at right back. And in the middle, I've gone for Leonard and Pake in the middle. I have gone for Stano on the left as well, because I'm assuming that Damari Gray is not going to be fit. And that's where he moved him, later in the game, didn't he, against Derby. I don't like Stano on the left, by the way.
I agree.
I don't like him there at all. But
I don't like making that decision.
But I think that if you were to play Stano as a 9 or the 10, who'd you play on the left? That's where we are at the moment, isn't it? I'm not going for Kumas.
No, still neither.
I'm absolutely not. And I don't think he'll pick Kumas because he brought him on and took him off.
But Dan, he does like Kumas. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised to turn up and Kumas is starting. I don't want that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It could be Kumas, but I've gone for Stano on the left only because I think he'll pick Stano. Stano will be in the team somewhere, won't he? I've gone for Roberts on the right. I think that's a given. The Roberts will be on the right. He was the most effective player. I've gone for Duxbury number 9 and Dykes as 10. I think as well, a lot of people raise their eyebrows when you say, well, Dykes starting. But
in the 10 it's different.
We've said, and we so clearly lack physicality up front. Okay, and I know that Dykes isn't as mobile, but like Yuki, if you kick the ball up to him, he'll either flick it on or we'll try and hold it, and that brings all the other players in. We haven't got that apart from him. Now, I do agree with the argument that Dykes is probably not the most mobile of players, and he's probably good as a sub to bring on if you need that bit of physicality. But if you haven't got physicality in the first place, where is it? So I think that I'm not starting with Kyogo. I think that's a failed experiment. I'm being honest. I think that's done. I don't see how you could possibly start Kyogo. I think as well, he came on, didn't he, against Derby? Every time he comes on, we talk about physicality. When you bring Kyogo on, you're doing the exact opposite, and we're expecting pace. But he don't even give you that because he runs around, he puts a load of effort in. I get that. I'm not criticising his effort, but he keeps getting caught in possession. So when he goes through, he just keeps getting tackled and caught. So for me, I can't start Kyogo. I can't. As much as like everybody else, everyone's wanting to score. Of course, you want him to score. But everyone's to score in the team. But he's bought in to score goals as a striker. He hasn't done it. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that ship has sailed for me. I think that's done. I really do. That's why I've gone for Dykes. And I think based on what we're saying about our team selections, you can tell how paperweight we are as a squad.
Also, I wouldn't have even started Stansfield in my opinion, because against Derby he looked like he was exhausted in that second half. He needs a rest. And if you think about the fixture congestion, we got Watford on the Thursday, Coventry on the Sunday. Massive games as well. Southampton's a massive game. I'm not discrediting Southampton. I'm just saying he looked like he was puffing smoke in the back end of that second half. He looked shattered. So again, just in terms of the legs here, resting people, I'm worried about Stansfield getting injured or fatiguing as well. I mean, he has got some engine on him. He's unreal in terms of his fitness levels, but he looks shattered. So if anything, I'll put my hands up. I was going to put him on the bench because of his energy levels, and that's what we have to discuss. That Kyogo starting for me because of depth, because of energy we don't have, and also as well, he keeps coming off on the bench again. Happy to be shut down for it. Let's give him a chance starting. Let's give him a chance. But
yeah, okay.
But also, Dad, I'm going to back you up on Dykes. I think that he's better in the 10 when he starts because he does bring other players in. He's got that physicality. I wouldn't start him as a 9 because then we just go. No,
I'll go hoof, 10.
Hoof, and I don't want to become that style of team. So him in the 10 offers us something a little bit different. I agree. I think we need to fight Southampton in terms of that grit. And I think a Watson and Lennon in the 60s and Dykes in the 10 gives us a fighting chance of actually putting in some battle and some challenges. And the rest of it is based off squad depth, fitness levels, injuries, and kind of a wing and a prayer.
What about, again, this is something that we've not used before. We've also got Fujimoto fitting in the squad. You could start him on the left, potentially.
Yeah. That ain't going to happen.
No, it ain't going to happen. But what I'm saying, that is an option. But we're getting to the point with our squad now that we're so paper thin. Yeah. Why not? Why not give it a go? What worries me as well is if he starts cashing on our left, he's up against Tom Fellows. He's just going to destroy him in terms of pace, isn't he? So you have to be intelligent. Mind you, Cochrane was there. Cochrane's not the fastest either, but he seems to be quite clever at intercepting the ball.
When Cochrane's injured, you realise how much of a good left foot he has on him because Cochrane does get quite a few in-swinging balls into the box. That's not Cashin's game, and it wasn't Kumas's game either against Derby. And our left-hand side was so poor. We said it in the post-Derby match. We weren't getting a ball in the box. But the point we're saying, it's not Cashin's game. He's not a left-back where he's going to get balls in the box. He's centre-half.
Yeah.
So it's unfair to put him in that position where you're expecting him to put balls in the box, in my opinion. But that left-hand side is going to be key. I don't know who's going to start, but I think we were really let down against Derby. I mean, their goal came from our left-hand side.
And that's why, Matt, he may have Stano on the left, because if you've not got Stano on the left, say you put Kumas on there and then you've got Cashin behind him, that's a very weak left side.
Yeah.
Where Stano will give you the energy. I know you're saying about him being tired, but he'll always give you the energy, Stano. I feel sorry for Stano, I do as well, because I think we're not playing and giving him the type of ball that he needs to score goals. He's the type of player that, that he needs that support up front, doesn't he? And he's expected to do. He does so much work, poor lad. And I think that he hasn't been brilliant, by the way, but it's partly to do with the ingredients we're giving him. He's not.
Also, again, Dad, stand by. He looks shattered.
Yeah, he does.
He needs a rest.
Yeah, but
anyway,
let's go to the score prediction then.
So I did Derby first, Dad. So you go for it, and I'll join.
Right. Okay. I think no matter what team we put out here, they've all got to be on their game. They've all got to be up for it. And the best I can see we can get is a draw here, if I'm honest. The best, but I'm going to unfortunately predict a defeat.
Yeah,
I'm going for Blues 1, Southampton 2.
Yeah,
wait for the comments. Sorry, I don't want that to happen, but that's just where we are at the moment with our form, the way we're playing, the almost lack of understanding, really, the fragmented substitutions. I just don't see how we're going to get a win in this. I'd love to get something out of the game. And, I'll put my hands up if we were done. I'd happily put my hands up if we get 3 points in this game. But we saw Southampton first hand. I know and everyone's saying, they lost to Oxford, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. But I still think they'll be up for this. And I find it's a very, very tough game, this one.
You know what's funny, Dad? Wouldn't it be typical Blues to win this and beat Coventry?
I'm more than happy to be proved wrong.
No, I predicted us to lose away at Sheffield United. There was just a feeling.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And you have to be honest on the podcast, Dad. If that's what you're feeling, that's what you're feeling.
Yeah.
With Blues, though, again, all the supporters will completely relate to this. Southampton at home, Coventry at home. They're the games no one's tipping us to win, and I guarantee we do all right in them. And then you have Derby at home, Charlton at home, the games we expected to win, and we drop points.
So you predicted a win?
It's just typical Blues. I haven't, but my point still stands. These are the kind of games where we're not expected to do well. Blues do quite well, and on that note, Dad, and we think about the home games, fair enough. Derby, 2 points drop. Charlton, 2 points drop. But we didn't lose.
Yeah.
We still actually got a point. And I know that is definitely looking at a glass half full there. I completely appreciate that because they weren't great performances. I totally get that. But it still shows we are resilient at home. I'm going to go for a draw, and I'm going to go for Birmingham City 2, Southampton 2.
Yeah, okay. I honestly toyed with a draw, but I did that, previous games where we've been away, which is slightly different, and we've just been completely destroyed. But I think it is a tough game on the back of our current form. But what do you think, Blues fans? Let us know in the comments below. I think the team selection is going to be very interesting based upon our injuries and suspensions. And what our bench is going to look like, I don't know. We had George Wynn on the bench against Derby, so I think we're already paper thin on that. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think the team selection, but your score predictions, what you think about this game. Add the comment below the podcast. Myself and Matt are always happy to read and to respond to your comments. If you did like this podcast, as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you'd like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll find us on there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you'd like to, and there's absolutely no obligation to do so, but if you would like to, and you hit that big red subscribe button, and if you want notifications every time we put a podcast out, there's a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. If you hit that, you'll get those notifications. So that's it for this one. Myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.